this series. Who is going to our very first semi-final? Who's booking their first ticket to semi-final? Who will it be? Wild, once again, banning away that Sophia 3 times now. They've done so, so that is just directed. That is what they will do. And I'm really interested where SSG will go with their bans.
Well, getting rid of Zofia means that they will decide to ban Thatcher, so that impact of getting the walls open, getting rid of defensive utility has been gotten rid of. Now on the defense side, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Valk. This, Valk gets banned quite a bit now. Surprise, surprise.
I'm in shock.
You got it?
I'm absolutely shaking right now. That's a Valk ban? Wow. I mean, it's so common to see on a map like Villa, and of course, whoa, Mirror as well. I'm really genuinely surprised about that one. Again, Mirror changes how a lot of these sides operate and work, so these are pretty standard bans. The only one that does stand out with the asterisks is, of course, Sophia, but Wild have banned Sophia every single game so far of this competition, so not really a shock in terms of what Wild are going to bring. So, Villa, different style of play to what we saw in Oregon, and now you start to see it opening up just a little bit for Wild. They now have a chance with a little bit more fluidity to try and cause those kind of explosions of chaos that they love to work with. However, with the number of buffer rooms there is, you cannot clear this map fully. SSG might be able to lurk, catch them napping. But again, on the other flip side of that one, Wild really like to do full clears anyway, so that might work for them. They will just go direct. Jay donning the countdown once again, a very familiar thing you'll see if you watch a lot of Wild play. They like this operator a lot.
And I love going onto the ground floor first time around as well, because even though all the teams have done their prep, they know what they do. It just kind of puts you off your rhythm a little bit when first round you're being forced to attack this site. But before we get into the round, I want to say a massive thank you to Wild for banning Mira, by the way, because as a man from rural Ireland, I struggle desperately with saying anything to do with that operator.
It's not exactly the easiest for our accent to get that one done quickly, especially instead of a play-by-play. But of course, not only doing us a benefit, I think doing the viewers a benefit as well, because the way it changes the map is very much a deadlock. It forces to clear downstairs, and that's what SSG would have had to do if Wild had that mirror available. And Aces, they're back on fighting form, already going for spawn peak. SSG will not present him the opportunity to do so, and they will begin to put pressure directly on towards Study. That's what they want to make his focal point, and Aces can essentially charge away. He will take a lot of damage for his efforts, but because he's so quick on that Oryx, he gets away, not scot-free, but without losing his life at least.
And with that hatch open, it's one of the few operators that you can clear from a room and then find them back in there a couple of seconds later using that hatch when they eventually rotate around. Corey will find the opener in this one, so that's first blood drawn. Fultz will fall. And that is, of course, the Ashdown. That's your speed, that's your small hitbox. That is the passion player out of the stack already, leading it down to Hot and Cold, Bosco, Rampy, and Dexter. And how long will it until we see that Dexter fight against Corey again in this one?
I don't think it's going to be long. I think we'll see it in this opening round, but the touch and drawback, a little bit of what I've mentioned. This map, lots of rooms, lots of angles, lots of corners, lots of places to check, lots of things to clear. SSG like to be a team that's thorough. They like to clear it, they like to know exactly what they're walking into. This is going to be a difficult endeavor for them because Wild, well, they embrace the lifestyle of a rat sometimes. They will do anything it takes to get a round of victory, and Aces will be one of those players that will find success to do so. Dexter will take a little bit of damage early. Source yet unknown, likely the player inside of Mud. But Rampy continues to work his way closer and closer direct to the objective. But Orange in secret, that's not even cracked open for him. But SSG not opting for vertical play, completely horizontal. And he'll dive himself to the basement to try and catch rotations.
And Rampy is on the rampage now in this one, hoping to get up and running with a couple of kills. Now, as we look at Kaneo using Pulse, just painting that picture of where these attackers are in, Jay is going to get himself in a nasty little position. You spoke about the rat plays. Well, where else to find one than behind a washing machine?
You pull that out and they scurry out in all directions. That's not what SSG want at all. Might be something they might have to deal with as this round progresses on. 40 seconds left to go. Rampy gets himself inside of Secret. His Memorial will be the vocal point of this clear. And Jay still uncontested inside of Laundry. And now finally he gets thrown out. But what are you going to do to clear him? You've got to commit directly to it, and he's going to fall on back. Crack the doorway as well, so he has all the free reign. But look at the timer, top of your screen. 20 seconds. Bosco finds one, brings us to a 4 versus 4. And it's all going to explode now, but Jay will find that pick. And it's going to explode, but SSG got one of their own in that moment of chaos. They'll find even more as Aces, and it's going to be a flurry for Wild. SSG left with one player. It's Hot and Cold, and he can't get it done. Jay finds Wild their very first round here on Villa, and this is a change of pace. not once in this series have they got the opening round. They've barely even led in this series, just enough to get themselves over the line on Oregon. And now on Villa, out of the gates, scrapping on the defensive side as well. We know they prefer to attack as well. SSG, well, it's only the opening round. And that was a massive asterisk. I was speaking bated breath about this one. It might be a bit of a red flag than why we were able to get that in pretty convincing and easy fashion.
Well, Whippet, you said that winning the first round of the game is something Wild hadn't done at all. Do you know what else they haven't done, Whippet? Win their second round on defense as well. So the gauntlet has been put into the hands of Wild to take a 2-0 lead. But it wasn't easy. SSG brought it into a situation at one point where they could have won that round. But Jay's position and moving around, as you said, scuttling, scurrying from one position to the other and getting the kill on the sledge, pushing in, had a massive impact on that round. But we're going up to the top floor now, and Aeson's preparing a little bit of a run out.
Will he do it? Yeah, he will. It's not even a question. It's Aces. Yeah. What a surprise. Aces, he's got a prep window. He's going out that. When he goes out of it, that might be a question. Will he do it early? Will he do it late? We don't know. He's unpredictable. He likes to dabble with a little bit of the quirkiness of this sometimes. That's why he's such a dangerous character to have on any side. I'd face, of course, for any caliber of team. Hot and Cold will use that shock drone, clear away as much utility as possible, doing this pathing. He essentially clears 90. He can now clear this camera inside or just at the bottom of Astro as well. And he's doing a lot of effort. He also probably cleared the lobby camera with that as well. And he'll go to get Astro. So, yeah, right now, SSG doing through the motions again. That's what you want to do, especially with the Twitch on the board. Good clear from him. A nade from down below, getting primed and prepped. Or at least Dexter's thinking about it. They don't have live information, but they have a good hunch that Corey's up there. And if that hunch is accurate, which now they have a good ping on it, they might be able to find that depth charge.
They can, and just getting rid of all those cameras as well just creates and clouds up that fog of war even more for the defensive side, as you're not going to know where this attack is coming from. Hot and Cold repositioning himself now up towards bathroom. Corey getting nice and aggressive, playing inside walk-in closet. Maybe he'll consider the jump out as well, and it's going to come. But Hot and Cold just about gets his way for his life. He wasn't spotted, and now he's going to swing, and he sees Corey. He will fall. 5 versus 4, and back to droning, back to putting in the work.
That's what SSG do, though. They got to pick. Now, what is the next problem to solve? They'll go through the list. They'll find a way, or find something they need to try and solve themselves. False down below, lurking with that knock. Could be a massive factor, but look how far away from the initial push he is. He's relying on catching a lurker, but Jay, tantalizingly close to finding a pick on that window. Nothing arrives from it just yet, but look where he's positioned himself, and SSG simply do not know he's there.
He is playing hyper-aggressive, and Jay jumps out, but Bosco spots him, swings around the corner and gets the kill. It's a 5v3, and now they have master bedroom control. The nade pops, but no damage has been done whatsoever. The barbed wire removed. Gisela gets himself prone behind it, and is he going to catch out the attack? Just bide your time. Wait. Everything slows down once again before we are going to see that rise as we enter the last 30 seconds of this round. Whippet, tension is building.
Tentative moments from both these sides. SSG have 2 extra players, 2 extra guns to work with. Well, okay, making a 5 versus 1 just like that. Gisa will get 1, but Fault Shot sit down. SSG essentially nipped that around in the bud. Had no chance for a comeback for Wild at all in that situation. And SSG get themselves level once again. Far better from them. That's what we need to see. They were a little bit shaky in the opening round, but I will say, interesting plays around the windows for a while. Jay and Corey, maybe if you didn't get too daring with that play, you might have had a better fighting chance in that round.
You know what the problem was, Whippet? Aces didn't run out. That was the problem. We were ready for it, didn't happen, and we saw the move from SSG. Jay jumped out the window, didn't spot out. There was Corey actually jumped out the window and didn't spot out Hot and Cold, and then it came back to haunt them. But let's just bring this back again, but this is the 3rd map. This is essentially now a best of 1 because it's a straight shootout for the semi-finals. And it's 1-1 after 2 rounds. This is the perfect start.
I'll add a caveat to that, just a little one. We're at the end of a best of 3. Both teams have already played them, but the one distinction is when SSG had to face off against Down 1 Kia, it took 3 maps to get through that. And it was a hard 3 maps as well. Fatigue is a factor in this. Of course, we do talk about the factor teams do scrim. Like the SSG, probably double scrims, the caliber of competition they play into the NAL. on officials is so different the fatigue levels you feel at the end of a script, so it's not really that comparable. Wild, well, 7-1 against Liquid, the opening game of the day. They are likely still feeling fresh, or at least a little bit more energized than SSG at this stage. No doubt SSG, though, are still better than either of us would be in this situation. There's a reason we're casting after all. But False will make an entryway down below, and look at his wear-ahead footprints. He's really much hot on the tail of someone. Who's he gonna catch napping?
He is just sniffing around the yellow feet, telling him somebody was there not too long ago. But where is that defender? Where is... He's up 190 now. And we're seeing, you know, a weapon that I might have a little bit of a moment for, but whoop it. Back to this round. C4 has now been gone. That is a little bit of potential a trap taken out of this one. Corey's still playing on 90 though, being nice and aggressive. Wild are working hard to slow down this SSG attack.
They very much are trying to slow this down as best
located by attackers.
I'm not going to let you get away with that one. The ACS-12 firing off the distance. You involved with that weapon, you're giving fresh nightmares. Fresh nightmares down in our green room. But with a minute 45 left to work with, we see the first one of those Goyo counters popped away. That will give Aces a little bit of extra time to not worry about the main stairs. That push will arrive. It very much will arrive with Fury behind it as well, as you want that critical map control. But right now, quiet round from either team. No pick, so damage. Well, there's some damage. Jay takes a depth charging nade, reduces him to low HP as well as Kaneo. Lots of damage done there Wild early, but they haven't directly seen anyone from SSG just yet.
And the fact that Aces stays alive, when you're playing Wamai, you need to stay alive deep into the game for your utility to play full effect. And we're going to see more nades coming in from below, and Piano, and another nade is thrown, and no one is found once again. Dexter getting rid of the barbed wire to prepare to push up red stairs, but Gisela is there playing that angle, and it's all so slow again from SSG, but the two players on the move. Dexter holding the angle, daring him to swing, daring him to peek. Gisela will accept it there, gets one, but Fultz will trade it back as SSG look to take a 2-1 lead. And now Jackal will have a big effect with one more ping to go. There is the Jaeger, and there goes the Jaeger as Jay is taken down, and SSG set up a 4v2 with 30 seconds left.
Wild absolutely now in dangerous position to let the lead of this matchup go to SSG 4 versus 2. But it's always one of those positions when you have two players alive, you might just win it out. But it's going to get even harder now as Rampy will find one to Aces. 19 seconds and couldn't even get the words out in time for the round came to a very abrupt conclusion. I was getting a little bit hopeful we might see a shotgun and clutching close towards brawling, but however, we see SSG now get themselves back in the lead of this matchup, back in the lead of this series. But a far closer competition between these two teams. Villa might just bring out the brightest of this competition. It takes two partners to dance, and then finally we've got a venue that will bring the best out. As Villa is absolutely providing fireworks so far.
Oh, they really are, but I am loving every minute of this one. But I want to call back to a point that you made before the last round started. You spoke about fatigue and SSG in their scrim. Nobody knows right now how much they scrim better than you. You can hear absolutely everything from their little training room.
That is true. I'm only a door away from SSG's practice room, and I can tell you what, they play with passion. That's certainly one thing. It's loud though. Trying to catch a nap between rehearsals, it's a bit of a nightmare sometimes. But they do put the work in, they do put the effort in, and they need to again with Dexter coming in on pretty short notice as well to this roster, or at least it was announced short notice. Probably some workings in the back end to get him up the speed team quickly. But look at this attacker repick. 4 attacker repicks, 5 now. SSG taking full advantage of that brand new mechanic, and they've seen what WYLDE are doing, and now they've read into it. And the big thing is likely Rampy's went to IQ because Jay's on the cap can. You don't want to lose it, and I think a C4 is primed and ready. Is he going to get sent out, and will it arrive at Dexter's feet?
We've seen Capcan picked almost every single round from WYLDE, and I'm not even sure if I've seen one pop at all yet. It's been so good SSG at clearing them out. But now we're in this round with just about 20 seconds in as well. They've changed their complete attacker lineup, which means they saw something that they believe they can take advantage of. But as we look at those defenders, you've got a pulse, you've got yourself a Capcan. Do you know what IQ does to a pulse using his gadget?
Spots out exactly. And that could be a very nasty surprise if you're holding up that cardiac sensor to your face and IQ goes, what's this down below me? Bang! And sends you to the observation screen very quickly in a round. And Rampy might be trying to find something. It's not very likely that happens, of course, but it's always one of those interactions that keep your eyes peeled out, likely to try and also deny that Capcan a big factor. But you haven't seen anything can be a massive factor, and that could be SSG clearing them, or it just could be the fact that they are wasting time not getting picture damage from it.
And there is IQ being used to the full extent, drawing a picture of every bit of utility that WYLDE have in place. But you know, not only do you have to get rid of utility, you've got to get rid of players. And so far, 1 minute and 30 seconds gone, not a bullet fired in anger again by either side. Fulsto has the ping, misses his shots, and this could be huge, as that is an absolute whiff. And Aces is going to reposition himself. And if WYLDE won this round, that is why.
If Aces wins this round, that's why. You don't often see Fultz whip shots like that. Fultz is so good at this game. And right now, that could be the one. It is a game of paper cuts. 1,000 paper cuts can unravel a team. They might have been the first one. They got that pick. This could be a different story. You could have actually have an advantage in terms of placement and the top floor control. But there's Gisela. That's Houghton. That's the Twitch. And this is a massive pick for WYLDE. Can they get themselves back level in this? As SSG now try to work the vertical positions, but what can they do from it? As they now have to be worried about a flank, and Fultz will be set up on the bottom of Red Set to try and lock it down, or creep closer to Memorial to sneak his way in under the cover of his gadget.
Quiet, trying to make as little noise as possible as Fultz gets the kill onto Kaneo, bringing us to a 4v4 as Fultz gets rid of that Aruni gate as well, creating an opportunity to go through. Corey holding the angle, getting ready for the swing as well, but is it too little, too late? Now everything's coming full circle, but Aces is getting ready to rotate back around the map. Catch Dexter or one of the other members of SSG, and will fingers be pointed?
It's going to be a flurry though. Look at this, Fultz is deep inside his side already. But you have to worry about the Oryx on the flank, and 3 in the round for Gisela. Aces pops up at the end as well, leaving it all down to Dexter. But look at the time, 5 seconds, and waiting in laundry is Malusi to shut it down. WYLDE back level with SSG and Fultz. I don't like the point of one thing, but that pick could have been critical. Now, WYLDE only got 1 off of that, but that was still a very important one. That could have been massive, could have completely changed the dynamic of it. However, that is one very small factor in the overall of that round. And very much Fultz had a massive impact getting that pick as a Momoa, and getting that one as well, a breakdown initial control. He just didn't have the numbers game, and WYLDE very happy to be level back here on Villa. And typically, you know, this map historically is defense favored. Right now, the climate teams like to attack a little bit more. If WYLDE can get themselves another round, maybe daring enough to say getting another 2, they will be in a very good position moving on to that side, because this map, at least in my mind, favors them how direct they like to play. They're not going to worry about massive road clears. Even if SSG employ that strategy, they're just going to try and take what's needed to get an execution rolling. So when we see that side swap, SSG might be in massive trouble if WYLDE can get another round or 2.
And WYLDE have been better on attack in this game than defense over the course of all the 2 maps we've seen already. So will they be able to just get the defensive rounds that they need? Well, it's something that we know people do from time to time. When the job's done, they slap and say job's a good one. If WYLDE can get 3 or 4 rounds in this one, they'll be very happy with that.
They will be very keen just to get it done. Wow, I looked down to take a note for 1. I took a note for a 1 second, and Jay, like that, a C4 pick off the spawn. Bosco and Fultz gone. SSG in shambles after that one. And can they recover it? You've got clutch players, you've got Rampy, Dexter, Hot and Cold, but you're against 5, and that's a massive blow. You've lost your hard breach, and you lost 2 nades. Oof, deep water early.
Well, dare I say, SSG are feeling a little bit jaded after that C4 going out through the window. But it is now a 5v3, and all the work has to be done by SSG. WYLDE looking to hit that 3, that minimum requirement for a defensive side. And the drone work is coming in. Pointing out the drones, we have seen a lot of work going in. Bosco and Fultz both rotating through drones and players' POVs to give information. And that will be a kill for Hot and Cold as Fultz watches that. But there's another C4 being thrown. Dexter will be the one to taste that. Aces then takes down Hot and Cold. This is a 4v1. This is all down to Rampy. And whoop it, he has a nade, and he is going to start to get ready to use it.
Many SIs ago, the one they were victorious on, Rampy started the tournament with an ace on this very map. Heroics needed to keep themselves in this. Yes, it's only the 5th round, but they don't want to give WYLDE a single inch. But Rampy, he's not going to move a single inch for the time being. He is just locked in, waiting. What will WYLDE do? Will they peek? Will they get aggressive? No. They know they have it won. And if Rampy tries to pick and find something, they'll be there for the trade. I'm gonna gamble.
Yep.
I'm gonna say it's a wild round.
That's a bold take, Will, but that is a bold strategy, Con. Let's see how it works out for you on that one as Rampy begins to push again, delaying time. 55 seconds on the clock, and even more importantly than that, 4 members of Wild with guns pointed your direction, and that's a good start as Corey will fall. Probably the one that's most expected to win. That was Corey, but there is Rampy. Crossfires are being held. Rampy needs to divide and conquer the members of Wild. They just need to use the numbers in their favor. Rampy swings. There is Jay. The crossfire comes in clutch, and Wild take the lead again.
Wild in the lead yet again. I mean, a round that went a little bit longer than perhaps should have. I'm never gonna back not back Rampy. I can't. I simply can't. It's in my bones to cheer for him when he's in those clutch positions. But look at this C4 from Jay. Postage stamp and sent it. Got him too. Houghton got one back for giving a C4 sent out by Aces will find Dexter. And wow, absolutely incredible round for Wild. SSG trailing once again. Back and forth matchup, and I mentioned this. Wild like to attack a little bit more. We've seen how good and proficient they can be, and this map will favour it more than we saw on Oregon or Clubhouse. If they can get one more round, SSG are in trouble.
And so far, Wild have shut down Dexter. They have shut down Hot and Cold, and they're climbing that leaderboard. Capcan in play again. Smoke. We've got ourselves a Wamai, a Malusi, and a Mute, as it looks like Wild have adjusted to the intel game that SSG are playing, and they're going to work to counter it. But whip it. We are one potential round away for Wild from a 4-2 split, or can SSG drag themselves back into it?
I'm never gonna go against a team of the caliber of SSG. Now, you know, not the ideal split they had instead of NA. I think a lot of our prep into this perhaps is the history of the side. Because again, former world champions, massive performance. We see them at essentially every major event, but False found the opening pick on the J there. Wild in complete control. They're not being scared at all. This is why they're such a good side. We saw it against Liquid, another prestigious team that, yes, isn't in the biggest run of form right now, but they were fearless against them. And if they can do the same against SSG now in the third map, oh my, best of 3 at the end of a day, oh my, this is what you want to see. Again, bit of a revenge tour for Corey and Aces as well. No longer in tier 1 competition. Absolutely sticking it to those to LATAM and NA so far. But at Rogue, or not Rogue, Tristan would have been happy about that slip. But SSG in a good position right now, opening pick, look for a set. Oh no, Gisela stands tall, finds it, Rampy gets a trade on the Kadeo, and that's going to be Dexter down. He can get himself back up, but will they get aggressive? No, they'll fall back. Dexter will be back in this fight shortly, but Wild, they'll lose Aces now.
Yeah, Aces is down, but not out just yet. Corey, Gisela on their feet. It is a 4v2 as that Finka will eventually use the stem. And there's Hot and Cold taking down Aces. And Bosco takes down Gisela. It's a 4v1. We're going to a 3-3 split, but no! Corey isn't done yet. He's peeking in through. There's a player study. The case is down outside Whippet, so he has himself the chance. Peeks through, but there's a player still on the balcony. Corey, if he can separate each individual member, is going to get droned out, but still has a lot to play with. There's a player coming up red stairs. Corey, which one do you fight for? You need to take a fight, and there you have it. Corey takes down Hot and Cold. It's a 2v1. There's a minute left on the clock, and Whippet, if he can make 2 1v1s,
surely not. Surely not. Corey, I mentioned the revenge tour. What will this be to get it done? Behind the bar is one, and he's going to take a bucket of damage. The case recovered in the hands of Bosco. Tentative moments. 40 seconds. They likely know he'll rotate to maps. The case will go down. Not close to the vault door. The cover is there, but he now needs to try and take this fight. A horrible angle. Rampy locks it out. Corey slain. SSG back to level.
I think he got the down there too. I think he downed him. Well, this is the thing, Siege. One-shot headshot. That is the round win for SSG. And we have a 3-3 split to kick us off. This is exactly what you want to see in the group stages. Two teams from completely different worlds. Not even worlds. One's from outer space, Whippet, and they are taking on Wild. They're going sword to sword. Oh, I don't know if I can if this goes to overtime, Whippet, we're going to have to peel each other off of the floor because this is incredible.
This is exactly what you want to watch. This is some of the best stage ever. And the thing I love about this right now, and this competition right now, is this is a T3 team from Europe, right? A national competing team in the GSA, not even top of the GSA out now, a string of bad results over there, qualified for their finals in Hamburg very soon as well. But they are sticking to SSG, and yes, SSG haven't had the best run of performance out of NAL. Kind of preface that a little bit for some people.
5 seconds to insertion.
Wow, they're still doing it. They're still getting it. They're still showing a massive benefit. And the fact that we're on the third map, I think that's an absolute statement. And it's tied up 3 rounds apiece. Round 7, here's the side rotation. What can Wild do on their offense?
Well, this tournament already, they've put the cat amongst the pigeons. They've gone to map 3 against SSG. They've beaten Team Liquid, and they want to take another name down for SSG. This is a win that I feel that they really need to get because questions will start being asked. Yes, if you lose this game, you've still got another shot at qualifying through for the semi-finals because 2 wins and you're in, and these two sides are looking to get both feet in the semi. Jay is going to get the opener. Gisela gets the second. It's a 5v3. Kaneo is putting that diffuser down, laying down the gauntlet. SSG 5v3, 4v3, but the clock is against them with that case on the ground.
Now we have 35 seconds until this round is done and dusted. They need to do something about it. Jay inside a vault will brawl away by Bar. That will be Corey. He'll get one more of his own. Make it 2. Bosco all alone. Summon the Bosco now. He'll find one to Jay. A second one to Kaneo. Surely not now. 19 seconds. The case is down. It ticks away. He's got to find one more, but another Candela burns his eyes. It's surely all over. He's got to be forced to stick it now. And time, his enemy. And so is Corey. Wild get themselves all around back in the lead of this series. And that's just a taste of how they play.
Look for the guys on the desk, for Fresh, for the one and only Tristan. We've got to say it, it's Corey.
Tristan would love that one. You know what? A little bit of an update I think that Twister's going to love. Liquid survived in the lower bracket against Damwon Kia, sent them home 2-1. A little bit of a live update there for everyone here on the A stream. Liquid sending home Damwon Kia. And Damwon Kia, the only team qualified for Berlin here. So a little bit of an upset story. Damwon Kia's run at Gamers8 lasts only a single day in our group stage. But Wild, can they get themselves a ticket to a semi-final tomorrow? They're already going to be on stream tomorrow. Anyway, this is the upper bracket. Both teams still have their extra life. But can they get over SSG? I'm beginning to believe.
If they win this game, but there's no questions about it. They are picking up fans left, right, and center with their style of play. SSG, with the way they're playing, they're getting back to that old form again. And you know, if you looked at this before, you'd be saying SSG, you know, going to 3 maps against Wild, but it's not that case. Wild beat Liquid. Yes, Liquid have secured themselves a match against the losers of this one to get through to the semi-final. But it's 4-3 Wild. They are better on attack. SSG, a structured side, you feel like on defense, they should be a little bit stronger on that too. So we're going to see what is better, Wild's attack or SSG's defense, because this is it.
You know what?
Has been dropped.
I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk the caster curse out here. I think Wild are going to edge it out on attack. There is just something about the way they play now. This goes absolutely wrong. Guess it's my fault. Unfortunately for that one. Best SSG get a lucky break against that one. I'll expect the jersey at my hotel room for that one. So, as Wild begin to close this one, or get closer to that execution, I'm too excited. I want to see Wild win this. There's a little bit of Irish bias in the Irish organization, and we see them playing GSA in EU all the time. 2 minutes left in this one. And look at this. Look who's on that Dokkaebi.
Well, never mind Dokkaebi. Corey is going to take hot and cold as Lion is just going to get one on the board. Finka and Lion. Jay gets in a gunfight, but Gisela takes down Foles. Aces takes down Dexter. It's a 5v2. The diffuser is going down, but Bosco pulls one back, and that stops the plan for Kaneo. Another try. The Lion goes out. The EEDE. Gisela gets one. Bosco pulls it back, but this is a 3v1 situation. And Bosco, he's boxed into a corner, but can he pull it back?
Well, he's the boss goat for a reason. What can he get done? He'll have to stop that call in his back pocket. He doesn't want to give free information. SMG-11 in his hand, but surely WYLDE have made this too difficult. The cross fires a gauntlet, a crucible of fire and flame he'll have to cross. Flashbang sent out. He'll dart. He'll dive his way to the bathroom, but only a fake. A player close. The SMG-11 shots narrowly missed, but time. The ultimate enemy here. 15 seconds left, even less to go. So shotgun close range. He misses the very first pump. Misses the second as well. Kaneo still in this fight, and he finished.
In their chairs, they smile. There's a confidence about them.
There's a quiet confidence about WYLDE. They're not going to be up and standing up. They're not going to be laying on the verbal. They're not going to be pounding on the desk in excitement. They just simply know we got that round. We're one step closer, and that is really important for this side. But SSG, they're an emotional roster, and you got to feel right now, you know, this is a lot of pressure, and you've really got to get scared. And Corey, he's going to pick away from that, and from Flores now onto the Nook. Flashed for just a moment a different operator, but he is going to go for what we like to call and activate his inner crouch walker. He's going to try and cause some chaos from it. SSG, time to get around back. You don't want WYLDE to get momentum. You don't want WYLDE to be on a 6-3 position against you.
You don't, and let's just say crouch walking has been known to have an effect from time to time inside competitive R6, but WYLDE with a 5-3 lead and the clock ticking down. They win this next round. They will have 3 attempts to step into the semi-finals. SSG need to claw 2 back just to get on level terms. But you gotta say, WYLDE look confident. They're taking on fights early. Corey playing aggressive with Nook, but Bosco opens up a lovely little angle to watch that laundry push.
Reloading. Cover me.
He'll lock in on that one. Try and stop that push from happening. He'll sit there and just lock it in. That's what he needs to do. No real need to get hyper-aggressive from WYLDE here. Now, it's worked for them, but they need to manage this game right now. You know SSG's morale is going to sink a little bit. You've lost a string of rounds now. Can they play on it? Can they manage it? And look at Aces. Look how far up and close to side he is. He's just going to be inside. Horton falls and WYLDE get the opening pick. But there is Dexter for damage control, followed by Rampy. Huge from SSG to get themselves level and now in advantage. 4 versus 2 for SSG. WYLDE gambled and tried their luck to get aggressive and very, very direct. Didn't quite work out with the rounds. Still not over. 4v2, and I have every chance to believe WYLDE can still pull this out if they give it the chance from SSG.
Corey and Kaneo, it is vitally important that SSG do not let their, they're locked in, as you said, they're locked in. They cannot let that slip. Kaneo is pushing, dropping down those claymores to make sure nobody can flank him behind, because when you're in a 4v2, it can be tempting to go and find that next kill and lock it in. But Dexter is above, holding that long angle, waiting for the first push to come through. But Whip It, Dexter is on very little HP, and Corey is going to just peek through the wall that has now been opened. There's still 55 seconds left.
Lots of time to work with for WYLDE, but they don't have a lot of information to work with. They're going to be forced to face check these positions. They're now going upstairs. No one's standing. Look at Dexter, and he's slain. Now that's the opening. That's the lockpick to try and crack open this chest of a round. Match points waiting inside for them if they can pass a skill check. Bosco will lock himself in laundry now, at least patch up that door. Corey will try and creep on down. Kaneo look to put some pressure inside of Memorial. But this is all down to Corey. Find this pick from China. Find this moment. Long-range fight with Rampy. Both very close to each other. 20 seconds and tension begins to mount and build. And that's going to be Corey. Surely not now. Bosco falls. 2 versus 2. And they've got to worry about a rotation now from the basement inside a pantry. Here comes Kaneo. What damage can he do with timer on red? Corey, you got to push in, get aggressive, and really worry about Rampy. He'll find one. Now they all know where Kaneo is. Every gun locked on towards him. And time closes it out. SSG needed that round. Calms the nerves. Gets them 1 round away from WYLDE. Big from them.
well played. Really well played round. They opened the door just a little bit for Wild, and then they shut it close. And I'm going to say it, Legion came in clutch. The goo mine on both doors at the same time told them exactly where the Wild push was. And once they got one of those kills with it, they knew they just had to fall back. The timer was red, like you said. All you got to do is stay alive for 3 seconds and you have the round won.
Absolutely. You don't need to get aggressive there. And that's, again, SSG are smart enough to not peek that. Kaneo very nearly had that massive impact. Corey said, I've Corey got one more pick onto Rampy. Oh, wow, that is going to be a massive red flag for SSG. But 1 round away from tying us up. At this stage, we're going to see all 12 rounds of regulation. Will we see overtime? Will we see overtime here on our 3rd map of the series? I've touched on it a couple of times so far, but it is a factor to think about. SSG have played a long best of 3 series already. Wild is way fresher. Wild's had way more time to prep for this game. Inside of it, of course, these teams would have come in with a prep book, knowing what they're going to face. But SSG showed their hands against down 1 Kia, and Wild was able to figure out what to try and do. Now, they're not saying direct counter-stratting, but they're aware of how SSG like to play and what positions that style of play and how their structure tends to work and operate. But Wild on the offensive side, I don't think anyone can really stand up to them if they are in their groove. And though could be, once again, Kaneo, all that SMG-12 sing.
Well, I cannot wait to see it. Kaneo has given us a couple of moments that if Wild win this game and Kaneo continues to play the way that he has, he will be in that MVP conversation, especially when you consider he is in as a sub, replacing BZ, who could not travel. But SSG playing inside one of those basic sites. AVG, verticality can have an impact. You've got the player playing on top of the stairs. As always, as Aces will start to get to work to clear that shield. But there's a player on Master Bedroom, making this a very difficult position for Aces to play. 2 minutes and 10 seconds gone, and we're just dancing. These teams are doing the tango right now, waiting to see who can step on whose toes first. And Jay will get the first one. Dexter falls, and now Wild can go to work. 5v4, 1 minute and 55 seconds away, and you win this round, you go to match point, series points.
Rampy now is in a very, very key position. False is there to back him up with a shotgun as well as those toxic canisters. But if main stairs falls, that gives Wild direct avenue directly in the top main. And that could be catastrophic for SSG. But Corey will find one. The Bosco, the rest of the team rotates away towards Master Bedroom. They're going to hit them from the long way around. And now SSG, you begin to get a little bit cautious. As Gisela, look at the way he vaulted, and they know there's a cross to worry about. So the surprise factor is Pogmat's no longer in the air for side of Wild, and Houghton lurking bottom of red stairs. Minute on the clock left to work with, and Wild seemingly in complete control.
Yeah, and lots of time to play with. 1 minute on the clock. Aces will see Jay take down Hot and Cold as he takes out that 90 camera. 5v2. Rampy pulls one back. Rampy pulls 2 back. But Kaneo is still dropping that case as Folt sprints on in. There's the cross from Aces and Rampy in a 1v3. We have seen a situation like this before, and Kaneo got the round-winning kill. Will Lightning strike twice?
Kaneo will very much be wanting to repeat a little bit of that magic, but Rampy now faced against 3. Make that 2. He'll get one on to Kaneo, as we mentioned. 20 seconds or so until this round is done and dusted, and he's going to need to get aggressive. The player out to the balcony will lock him down. He's going to be forced to stick very, very soon. Pre-firing, checking everything, but no information. He's flying blind. He'll tap once, but time is his enemy. Won't even try it, and Wild on map, match and series point right here, right now. Can they close it out next round?
It is ground control to Major Tom as SSG. Well, they have a problem, and Wild are that problem. 1 round away from the semi-finals. The T3 dream, the underdog story. The country that built the underdog story was NA, and now they could potentially taste a little bit of their own words, as EU are going to try write that script better.
A sweet vengeance for us EU fans. We haven't seen an EU team get victory over NA in a very, very, very long time. But WYLDE sit themselves one round away from winning Villa, from winning the series and booking their ticket to a semi-final tomorrow. This is huge for this team, huge for this org. This is this team's very first LAN together. They are barely even a year old as a roster, and look at what they've done and achieved from the depths of a National League in the EU to this stage against SSG.
It's just a feel-good story. It is
Absolutely.
such a feel-good story. But will WYLDE have that heroic ending, or will SSG be the baddies and ruin the story? 2 match points for WYLDE before we go to overtime. And dare I say it, you know, there's 2 other casters that are quite well known, and they love a good overtime. But I know there's a lot of people right now that want WYLDE to win this one right now.
Don't even say overtime. You know what? I've got a little bias to WYLDE, just a little. I love SSG as well. I mean, you too as well.
Just a little.
I do love SSG. They've got a very, very soft spot in my heart. But WYLDE right now are on the cusp of doing something incredible for T3 EU, for EU in general right now. The Doka Because go out. What will they hear? Can they go hunting early in this round, deep inside the basement? Dwelling, waiting, lurking, the go button pressed on Lion. Ace has creeped his way up and Gisa will lead the charge. There's Jay with the opening, but that will be Dexter, but he's gonna get traded! WYLDE, 4 versus 3, now a 3 versus 3. Bosco stands tall, but there is Kaneo! SSG crumble, but Hutton on the Maestro. We've seen this before. 2 minutes to work with. Can he find 3?
Well, history tends to repeat itself. Kaneo is putting down that diffuser. A challenge is being thrown. Corey gets the kill. See you later, SSG, as T3 Europe. They're going to the semi-finals. Aces are WYLDE, and Whippet, you said a line before this started about a little bit of something up the sleeve.
They had an ace up their sleeve, and aces popping off to get that done. WYLDE direct.